Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another installment in the Maryland Realtors webinar series. Today's webinar features Brian of Icenhower Coaching, and he will be providing an educational session focusing on how to generate listings in a low inventory market. As you have questions for Brian, please place them in the Q&A box, and we will attempt to answer your questions at the end of the presentation. We will send links to the presentation materials and a recording of this webinar in the following week. For now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Brian from Icenhower Coaching.
Hey guys, hello everyone in Maryland. It's great to see you guys here with us today. Got a lot to tell you about. I've got Anissa from my company on board with me to start this off today, just to tell you a little bit about us. To Icenhower Coaching, we are a real estate coaching company. We coach a lot of the highest producing real estate agents and teams in North America. We coach agents that sell upwards of 50 million to 100 to 150 million in sales volume a year. Real estate teams that do upwards of 2, 3, 5, even 10 million in gross commission income per year. We even coach a lot of brokerages and sales managers as well too. So we've really specialized in coaching agents that want to sell a lot of real estate and coaching agents that are at the highest levels of production. And it hasn't been until recently that we've actually started we've kind of over the years, if not decades, our name has kind of traveled word of mouth. And it hasn't been until over the last few years that we started to kind of really branch out and start to actually represent the masses. We've got quite a few coaches. We've got over 25 of them. We have over 500 coaching clients now. So we're a real fast growing company. And one of the reasons for that is what we're going to bring to you today. But before we do that, I just want to offer you a couple real free things just for being a member of the Maryland Association of Realtors. We want to give you guys all our free client code to attend our National Real Estate Conference this October. Anissa, do you want to tell them about that really quick?
Sure. We're going to have a conference here in California. We have lots of agents from the top teams across the country flying out. We're going to do 2 days of training followed by Saturday, a bunch of different excursions, deep sea fishing, golfing. Every morning has yoga, and then, of course, the masterminds and the trainings and all of that stuff. So the code to sign up for that, I'm going to go ahead and put here the link, and then the code for you guys is Maryland Web. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. You'll find that now.
Yep. So in the chat room, if you go to the bottom of your screen and click on chat, open up the bar to the right, you're going to see that we're adding a link that you can click on and you can check out a little bit about the conference. And Anissa just added the free code. So if you type that free code in to the registration link, you will not pay for the summit. You just got to get yourself out there, and it's Maryland Web. So anybody in the Maryland Association of Realtors that attends this meeting today can come visit us. And it's beautiful Central California. It's a little town called Morro Bay. It's wine country, beautiful outdoor venues right on the ocean. So the resort is right on the water, and we're doing it free of restrictions as well too. So we'd love to see it. So the web's up there. You might want to repost the link too, Anissa.
I just reposted it. I saw that. So
okay,
you see that? It's to all panelists and attendees.
Got it. Yeah, there's the code, and you might want to, I don't know if you can repost the link that they input the thing into. There we go. So, because if they came on late, they're not going to see that initial link.
Okay, awesome. We also have some free stuff to give away. We'll do that at the end. So yes. I'll go ahead and let you get started.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Anissa. Okay, guys. So one of the things we're going to talk, I want to get right to it. So last thing I want to do is sell you on stuff, or I guess give away too much stuff. I don't know. Last thing, in that link, you can click on that. You can learn about the summit. You can learn about our coaching programs. If coaching something, if you're looking to increase your production, you can schedule a free coaching session with any of our coaches. Learn about what we do. We have a lot of online courses and training courses on different ways to grow your business, generate business, things like that. So that's all there behind that link for you. What I'm going to do today, if you have questions, you can always put them in the chat. I'm going to keep an eye on that. So you can throw them in the chat. or you can wait till the end. I'm gonna leave some time at the end. Like we're gonna talk for about 45 minutes in the last 15 minutes. I can answer your questions. So you can either hold it or you can throw it in the chat, and I'll probably get to it a little bit quicker that way. So that's going to be our plan. And what I want to talk to you about, it's been a very unique year or two lately with regards to a global pandemic and extremely low housing inventory, record low housing inventory. It's kind of created this strange little environment that I found has been wonderful. I think this has been one of the best housing markets, if not the best housing market ever, for real estate agents to make a lot of money. And that's simply true because the record numbers of sales volume that are being produced right now. Never before has there been such high sales volume numbers, which means there's more sales going on than ever before. And which means there's more commission income since we're paid off a percentage of that commission income. So it's very important you control your mindset right now because agents are making more money than they ever have right now in real estate. However, it is a lot of the rich getting richer. So the people that are controlling the listings right now are making tons of money. So it is very important if you want to succeed in this industry. Always it's important to control the listings. So I don't care what market you're in. For quite a few reasons. Of course, number one, time is probably the most important. It takes 4 times as much time to handle one buyer as it does a listing. So you can handle one listing in the same amount of time, or excuse me, you can handle 4 listings in the same amount of time that it does to take you handling one buyer. Because with that buyer, you're doing buyer consultations, you're showing property, you're writing offers, you're removing all the contingencies, you're attending the inspections, you're handling the appraisals. It's you that needs to do all the work to make sure your buyer can purchase. The listing agent typically sits back and lets you do all the work. And oh, by the way, the listing agent gets all the credit too, right? So time is a big one. Time with your family. Income's a big one too, especially in low inventory markets. You control all the business, you control all the leads. So all leads come after listings. Oftentimes they bypass buyer's agents. And of course, you get all the credit if I have a listing in a nice neighborhood and you represent a buyer that buys that listing, you did all the work. You showed them a property all over town. You did the work, you did the offer, you did the inspections. I just took your offer, got it accepted, and just kind of waited for you to perform. And then when it closes, everybody thinks I'm a hero in that neighborhood. So they all list with me. They have no idea who you are. You're a secret agent because you represent the buy side. And yet you're the one doing, at least 4 times as much work as me. Yet I'm the one getting listing after listing and all the credit for being this awesome salesperson that everybody knows about. And I'm the superhero at every restaurant or social event in that town because everybody knows who I am because it's my signs everywhere because I'm that listing agent. So my income goes up tremendously. My personal time frees up tremendously too. And that's the business model every real estate agent wants, right? I want to make more money with less work. In fact, that's probably every human what they want in business, period, let alone real estate. And if you want to do that in real estate, you have to be on the listing side. Even if you love working with buyers and you don't like working with listings, understand it's very hard to get out of that business model where more work equals less time with your family and your personal endeavors. The only way to do that's on that listing side. So really important in this market, especially to survive, we focus and get our unfair share of business on the listing side of things. Okay, guys? So very, very important. Okay. I want to show you a couple other things before we jump into that too, just to show you how feasible this all is, because it is extremely feasible. First thing we need to do is we need to get extremely excited about the current market we're in. We can't be upset that, oh my gosh, there's no listings right now. Okay. That's really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you a bit to give you an idea of annual home sales per year. This is the amount of sales volume year over year. You can see this is 1990, 1995, 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015, and then last year, 2020. We're not done with 2021, but we're halfway through it. So I can give you a good idea what this next slide over here is going to look like. But you can see 2020, the year of a global pandemic, mind you, was our second highest year in total sales volume, all the way back to the peak of the housing boom in 2005. You can see sales volume, the amount of sales, the amount of commission dollars, because we're selling on a percentage of sales volume, has just been going up, like I said. So believe it or not, if you're saying, oh, it's so hard to sell in real estate. No, there's a lot of agents making a ton of money right now. There's a lot more sales going than there has been all the way back since 2005. So it's been 16 years. Now, here's the deal. 2021 is on pace to pass 2005. We're likely going to see a 6.4 number up here. So this year could be the most lucrative year in the history of this country to be a real estate agent. That's how much money, that's how good of a market it is. And understand, if you go back, I don't know how many of you guys were practicing 20 plus years ago during the housing boom of 2004, 5, and 6, but understand that's when they said everybody's making so much money hand over fist. I mean, realtors were just making so much money because there were so many sales, as I showed you in that graph. There were tons of sales back then. But understand, the same problems existed. We couldn't find listings. There was, a gazillion offers on every house. I mean, it was like this. It was like a mirror image of what it is today, except there was a few differences. That was followed by a huge crash because we had quite a few different economic conditions going on than this year. Now we have no supply. There we got oversupplied. We had too many people building houses. We had too much supply, all of those types of things. We were giving loans away without pre-qualifying. I mean, there was no income verifications, no verification of employment, nothing. We were selling, mortgage-backed securities. There was no regulations on that. So we were just selling them right out the door and putting dummy loans with them. It was really, really bad. So it was all dust. Now, none of those situations are in place right now. And we still don't have any. We've never had less inventory as a country than we do right now. So in all likelihood, there's almost no way humanly possible that housing prices can't continue to escalate for 2 or 3 years. It would take something miraculous, because the only way to do that's with supply. Supply and demand is what control prices, nothing else. As you can see, global pandemics don't impact it. A decrease in demand alone doesn't affect it, because we had a pandemic. Everybody's worried about everybody losing their jobs. It didn't have anything to do with it. Supply was down, prices go up. And that's the first rule of economics. And you cannot trump that rule. If supply is down, prices must go up. There's nothing. I mean, presidential elections, increase in interest rates, nothing. If supply is down, prices will go up in any market, in any industry, especially real estate, right? So we've seen that, and it takes a long time to get housing supply. You got to build, you got to buy land, you got to get it developed, you got to get it subdivided, you got to build it. And all we're doing by having an extended pandemic or COVID period is making it harder to get labor, materials, and supplies to increase supply. And that just extends this price increase. So it's very important that we explain this to our clients and we have that good attitude. And here's the key graph. And I'm going to share this with you because you're going to really want this one. This graph is this is what you should be showing to every single client and quite frankly, yourself or agents in your offices, so we can get a little bit more educated about what happens with housing prices. This is the history of home prices in the United States of America. Okay. And if we go all the way back to like the 1960s, you can see housing prices have been nothing but increasing. Housing prices don't go up and down. The only time we saw that was right here. And here we are getting into that 2005 and 6. And then we saw a correction. And within a few years, it was right back. Do you guys see this is that big nightmare that was the Great Recession that everybody's freaked out about? And then ever since, this is where we've been. It's almost like it didn't occur. It's just such a little 20% blip. It's unbelievable. And all these people that let themselves go under, all they had to do was hold out for a few years. That's it. And they got their equity back. And yeah, some places more than others. Some people overpaid a little bit. So maybe it's 5 years for some and 1 year for others. But the point of the matter, this is the average in the country. So people saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to buy or I don't want to sell because the housing market's going to crash, because I don't want to sell because if I go buy, then prices are going to drop. Guys, the best time to buy or sell real estate is to the left of this graph. The best time to buy real estate that we can control in real life is today. And the second best time is tomorrow, because we can see real estate just goes up. That's proof. Okay. So if you're going to make that move, you make that move now before it gets unaffordable. And all we're seeing was with supply and demand that it's going to get even more out of whack. Okay. So this is the most important graph. Everyone needs to see that one. Usually I have 100 people asking me for that graph, but don't worry. Maybe it's because I told you that I was going to share it with you. Anyway, I'm dropping that in the chat room and you can download that as we speak. That is a PDF. You can just pull it straight, or it's a JPEG. You can just pull it straight down. You can share it. You can do whatever you want with that one. You can put your logo on it and put it in your listing presentation or what have you. Okay. Now, the most important one that I want you to see here, the second most important one, that was the most important one. last graph before we start talking about how you're going to grow your business. You need to show this one too. This is why that was the past. Now I'm going to get you into the future. The past was showing you how housing prices just go up. And when they do go down, it's a real quick correction. And we're not in a place where that's going to happen now. And here's why. You can see this chart shows homes built in blue versus population growth, both in millions. Okay. And you can see homes built versus how we're having babies and growing as a country and population is about equal at all times. Okay. Until that Great Recession freaked everybody out. And look what happened since 2010 to 2020. Our population exploded and we stopped building. We haven't been building houses for 11 years, guys. And population has been getting out of control. Do you know how long it's going to take for us to get supply back in alignment with demand to stop prices from going up? So this is why almost all the smart money in this country, and smart money not being, husbands and wives that are teachers and firemen or laymen, that's actually dumb money. Smart money are people, I don't mean to say dumb as I'm not knocking firemen. What I'm saying is real estate's not their specialty, right? They fight fires, they teach kids, elementary school kids, things like that. They're just trying to buy a house for shelter. They're not specialists. They're not real estate investment trusts. They're not hedge funds. They're not major home developers and home flippers and subdividers. That's the real estate smart money. And that's why they're investing full on. That's why you see them across the country buying up property left and right still, because they know it's impossible for prices to drop right now without enough supply. They know that's the economic formula that governs housing values. Okay. And they know these stats. They know, wait a minute, we have a shortage of housing. We have a crisis in this country. We do not have enough roofs to put over people's heads. And that's a problem that, with all of the other craziness in the news over the last few years, it's just being completely ignored right now. So the smart money is just throwing everything down on real estate like you wouldn't believe right now, because they know it's going to be a long time before supply can catch up with demand and level prices out. So that's why. Okay. So I'm also going to throw that. Now, if you guys do not see these, that means you're watching this from a phone. And I'm sorry, I didn't create Zoom, but Zoom will never allow you to take free downloads from your phone. You got to be on a desktop. And that's just the rule of, Zoom. That's the new normal since the pandemic, since everybody's on Zoom all the time. So you always want to log into meetings on Zoom from the desktop. That is why. So I'm going to take that graphic so you can use it as well too. And I'm going to drop that in the chat room so you can, because I want you guys to have confidence in lead generating right now. And I hear this too much. And I heard this back in 2000. I've been doing this for 30 years, believe it or not. This is year number 31 for me. And I heard all this before back in 04, 05, 06. And agents literally were saying, hey, I can't in good conscience, advise people, to buy or sell as if they knew what was happening. Right now, guys, we know what's happening. It's really, really clear. And if you're representing buyers right now that are waiting till houses or housing prices go down, guys, we can't be waiting. You've got to be advising of this. And it's really important that you let them know this information so they're aggressive. If they're out there constantly putting offers on houses and they're constantly missing, and then they get frustrated and they're like, forget about it, I'm just going to wait. Well, they're never going to get these prices again. Okay. They're never going to get these prices again. So this is it. So they need to get in now. And that's the, that's the nuts and bolts. For those of you guys having problems finding the downloads, you just got to click on be on a desktop, click on the chat at the bottom. A Surface, it depends if your Surfaces, the neat thing about them is they can go app mode or they can go desktop mode. So make sure you have the keyboard attached. I'm not totally a tech guy, but you need to be on a desktop, not an app or a phone. So if it's acting like a tablet on your Surface, then you're not going to have the same problem. So, but check on the chat room down at the bottom and you can see all of the downloads to the right. If not, you got to get to a desktop.
We will add these to the download too, and the Maryland will send them out as well.
Oh, okay, good deal. Okay, yeah. So you'll get these eventually, one way or the other. Okay, if you want them right now because you're antsy, you got to get on desktop. So that's the idea behind it, guys. Okay. So that's that principle. One last chart I am going to show you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are worried about these foreclosures hitting the market. That's going to change everything, all these foreclosures. Well, no, they're not. The foreclosures are not. They're a drop in the bucket. So these are the foreclosures, and you can see this is a beautiful color scheme here, right? This is my team did this. These are in 30 and 90-day foreclosure down here. And you can see there's always people that are just a month to 3 months behind on their mortgages. That just happens. You can see lately, I mean, there's never been less people behind on their mortgages 30 and 90 days. But then you have these 90-dayers in the middle. That's this teal color kind of in the middle. And those are the people that are in forbearance, because we're worried because, the government said, hey, you can defer and forbear your mortgage payments and not make them until, we lift this restriction, which is currently being lifted. And then you got to owe it all, right? And these people aren't going to be able to pay it. And all these homes are going to go into foreclosure after COVID. So that's going to crash the market and prices are going to come down. Well, guys, it's just not happening. And here's why. This has been going on for 16 months. And we've seen about, on average in America, 26% home price appreciation. It's impossible. Like, there's no way they're going to go into foreclosure. If they can't get caught up on their mortgage, they're going to sell the home and make a ton of money. People don't let homes go into foreclosure when there's lots of equity in them. And that's why we're seeing absolutely no foreclosures. You can see the foreclosure process since the start of this year, no homes going into the foreclosure process. We've never seen less. This little light shaded teal here at the top. I mean, even in 2004, 5, and 6, during the housing boom, when prices were skyrocketing, we had a lot more homes going into the foreclosure process. We're down to almost nothing now. And you can see it's trending down every single month as appreciation goes even further and further up. So yeah, we have a lot that are forbearing into that 90-day plus, but none of them going into foreclosure. And that's why, I mean, there's just too much equity, and every month housing prices keep going up about 1% to 2% per month, every single month. So that's just more and more equity they're getting by holding off, so they're going to sell it and make a lot of money. So please understand that, guys. It is very, very important that you give your buyers confidence that they need to go out, they need to buy a house, they need to pay above asking. Okay. They got to pay above asking to get it. And then housing prices going up 1% to 2% every single month will catch them up. It'll just catch them up. Pretty soon, they're going to see, okay, I've got my equity back, and they're going to start gaining that equity. And that's how it works. And that's what you have to do in any hot market like this. Otherwise, you're sitting on the sidelines, and that house you want to buy is getting out of reach for you. Way more expensive. Okay. So very, very important that we get our buyers very confident and very aggressive, or literally, can you imagine buying? I know where you guys are in Maryland, your average price probably somewhere around, 400, 500,000 minimum. Housing prices have gone up a good solid 25 to 30% in Maryland since the start of this thing. On a $500,000 house, holy moly, that's a much more expensive home. That'll price a lot of people right out of the market. So really important that we get them aggressive. Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about how we're going to actually get listings, okay? Because that's the name of the game if you're a real estate agent right now. It's getting listings, okay? And that's what I promise you we're going to talk about. This gets you the confidence to get out there and sell real estate and generate. Now I need you to generate, okay? So how do we do it? Probably the most effective tool, and a lot of you have seen this before, but I'm going to give these to you as well too, so don't worry. I'm going to drop these in the chat and we'll send them to you later. Is a simple listings needed tool. All right. So this can be, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to share my screen and show it to you first. This is an editable Word document, and it's my listed needed email. Okay. And there's really two ways to get this across, and this is one of them. This is when we're actually sending out both a mailer and an email. Could be a postcard. I like a letter better. Because with an envelope that they'll open it up, and it's just saying, hey, we have qualified buyers. They're looking for a home in, we'll call it Cobblestone Estates, so it's specific. We want to make it hyper local to the neighborhood you're sending it to. So this is a type of geographic farming technique where you need listings in that neighborhood. And here is what we are looking for. And the word we is very important. Okay. The word we, because I don't ever want you to lie. If you don't have buyers, I don't want you to say you've got buyers. We don't do that kind of stuff. However, you can use the word we, and now you can be referencing all of the buyers, or sorry, all of the agents in your entire real estate brokerage. Okay. That's one way to use what I call royal we. Okay. That can be all the agents. So we have buyers that are looking for these things. Okay. That can easily be extended to we, meaning all of the agents in the Maryland Association, or it could be all of the agents in our local association. And so I'm going to do an exercise right now so you all feel comfortable with this. I want to get myself into our gallery view. I would like, can they all see each other on here, Adrienne? I don't know if they can or not.
No, they can't see each other.
They can't. Okay. So if anybody has, here's what I want you to do in the chat room. This will help you all out if you participate in this. In the chat room, if you have a buyer of any kind, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buyers that you cannot find a home for, can you please just type the words "me too" in the chat room? Me too. Okay. There's Simone. Thank you, Simone, for starting out. Greg, me too. Everybody, look at that. Look at it fly. Look, that's freaking hilarious. This is the first time I've ever done this. This is really, really funny. Yes, Carl, I'm going to give you a copy of this. But yeah, look at that. Me too, me too, me too. So you can now say that you were in an association of realtors. This is freaking awesome. Look at that. Yeah. So I don't even know how many that was. But it doesn't matter. You can say you were in an association of realtors meeting. Okay. Where everybody, we asked about who has a buyer they can't find, and everybody's got these buyers that we can't find a home for. So now we need listings. Because we're a cooperative, we co-op with each other. We work together, at least we're supposed to, right? So if someone else in your association of realtors or your local MLS puts on 10 listings, everyone's like, hallelujah, hooray, like you help everybody out, And now if you've got buyers for those listings, they're like, hooray, and we all make money and everybody's happy. So we need them. We, the collective, okay? So it's okay to use that in your scripting and dialogue, okay? We need these properties. Get together with agents in your office if you want to get specifics. If we get specifics and find out what we're looking for, maybe like your office private Facebook group starts saying, hey, what kind of homes you guys looking for? Then you can get together a letter like this. And this could be a letter. It should also be an email. And we can email it and mail it to everyone in certain neighborhoods that you are trying to target. So here's what we need. And guess what? This is something you can do in any market, but it works especially well. And we just do property descriptions, and you can kind of edit this any way you want. We need this in this neighborhood, or this in this county, and this type of house with this type of price, et cetera, whatever amenities you want to throw in there. And I'd keep them real general so we get people replying. Here's the reason it's unique in this market. The reason it's unique in this market is because they actually believe your letter. That's why. And I'm throwing this in the chat room right now. I like Sonia. She just says "me too" in all caps. She screamed it like urgent. That's good. Yeah, there we go. So I just dropped that letter in. It's a Microsoft Word document. You can take that and you can use that. They believe it. And right now, for a while now, we've lived in a world of convenience, right? So they actually think this guy may have a buyer. This might be the fastest, easiest way. I don't have to get the house fixed up. I don't have to be out of my house every weekend. I'm not going to have all these people trampling through it. They think this might be just a kind of a stab at a shortcut to get it done easy. So that Word document, you use it. I just dropped it in the chat room. And, sorry, I did not send it to everybody. I just sent it to the host and the Pats. My bad. Okay, so I'm going to throw that in there. How that happened. Okay, now you've all got it. So that suddenly you drop that with an entire neighborhood, and they're like, okay, this is easy. Let's give that a call. They've got a buyer. How many times have you heard another, a listing say, we're going to go with somebody else because they had some buyers, and it just frustrates the heck of you? That's because it happens so frequently. Okay, so don't hate the player, hate the game, and play the game. And that's kind of the idea here. If we have listings, we're going to find people that are looking to buy or sell. And because now is a wonderful time to do that. And if they're replacing it to buy, we need to hurry up and get them in that home they want to buy quickly before it skyrockets in price and interest rates go up and all that kind of stuff. Now is the time to do it. Get that equity out when it's easy and get into that home they want to buy before it goes up in price so much, right? So super, super important there. Okay, super, super important there. So with that said, use that one. Now I dropped that in the chat room there to everyone. And then we are also going to drop up the next letter that I'm going to send to you too. This takes it a little bit different angle. Okay. It's the same idea though. It's really no different. And on this one, you can see this is a buyer needs a home letter. This is actually almost like a love letter, which I know people have said are sketchy, but this is different. You're not doing it to submit an offer. You're doing this to try to look for listings, right? So you're actually saying, hey, I've got here's who I am. I'm local, and here's the company I'm with. And you might want to say right here in Annapolis or wherever you live in Maryland, and say that way they know you're a local hometown dude they can trust, and you're not going to, come in and rob them or something, and they can relate to you. And then you can say, I've got clients that are looking for a home in your specific neighborhood. Make it hyper local so it looks like a real letter, right? You can even say a little bit about the clients, who they are and things like that. That's okay. Because remember, you're just looking for listings. You're not discriminating against offers. So they can't just, so I'm sure you've heard the recent talk about using real estate love letters on offers. I'm personally still okay with it. I think it's crazy. But if you're worried about discrimination lawsuits based on familial status, this is not a love letter where you accept an offer. This is you looking for a listing. Okay. So you say that, you talk about that, and then you're going to talk a little bit about homes have been selling very quickly in your market, and we need more listings. We do not have enough houses for people. So please call me. So this actually starts, the other one you say, here's the houses I'm looking for. This one you say, here's the buyer that needs one of your houses, and you can kind of spray it out to everybody the same way. So you're really saying the same thing. Again, this should be an email, and this should also be a mailer. And it's part of, circle prospecting. So Terry asks, is this better than actually going after a specific address? Yes, Terry, it definitely is. And the reason being is you're just playing the numbers. This is only going to work 1 out of about every 150 to 200 mailers. So you've got to get this out to 200 because you just don't know which home is going to be the one that really is ready to list. So you really have to play the numbers here. If you don't, you're just going to do one at a time, and you may never get any results. In fact, in all likelihood, you will get no results because 1 out of 150 is not a good ratio. I don't like your odds there. So you definitely want to play the numbers. So yes, I mean, if you have the time to show the specific addresses, you could do that, but I see that being as a paralysis by analysis. I could see you spending all this time trying to do specific addresses and make them all catered and never getting it done and never getting 200 mailers out to an entire neighborhood. And not to mention, I don't think this hurts at all. I mean, you're sending out a mailer to everybody because who knows who wants to list. They're not going to hold that against you. They know you're out there looking in an effective fashion to try to find someone that wants to buy or sell. So I've never seen a problem with that. I just don't want to get you into too targeted that takes too much of your work. If it takes too much of your work and your time, my experience is agents don't do it. You all know, I mean, we primarily teach that you should generate a business by referral. You should grow your database through a sphere of influence and stay in contact in front of people you know. And then I usually ask agents without any coaching, how often have you been reaching out to them? They're like, oh, I haven't been. So, we know what we should do, but we don't do a very good job of doing it. We know we should go to the gym. We don't go to the gym. We know we should diet. We don't go to diet. We know we should go to church. We don't go to church. All those things happen and we don't do them. So don't make too much work for yourself that you're not going to do. That would be my advice. Make it manageable. That's one of the things that I practice and preach in my coaching company. And I find implementation is the key. Knowledge is not king. So just because you know how to do something better doesn't mean you're actually going to do it. So really we want to get something that's implementable, that it's achievable, it's reasonable, and then you'll get the results you want. Okay. So I'm going to drop that letter in to to everyone. There it is. And you can edit that one. Okay. So there's that. So those 2 letters I would get out right away. I mean, get one out, then wait 2 weeks and do it again. Okay. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you guys, again, if you guys don't see the links, we're going to get them to you later. It's because you're looking on your phone. You need to be on a desktop and click in the chat room. That's just life on Zoom. Okay. Great question from Michael. I was about to go there anywhere. Where do you get addresses for a mass mailer like this? This is wonderful. So what'll end up happening is with the not just the mailers are pretty easy to get, physical addresses are pretty easy. But again, the key to real estate these days, email addresses. Okay. Email addresses. So, and in this day and age, all top agents, if you're going to market to two databases, number one, it's going to be your sphere of influence. You must be, I wouldn't be doing any of this. Don't market to people you don't know if you've not got your SOI, your sphere of influence together, and put them in together in a CRM and stay in contact with them. We're not going to talk about that today, but that's always going to be first and foremost. Okay. And then you need to get it. So you always have to start with a database, which means there's going to be some work here. It's not going to be fun. Don't do things as a one-off. Don't just like send a letter and see if it worked or not. Like I said, you got 150 to 1 ratio. It's really easy to not get that one time. You need to do things systematically. You need to do things continuously, and you need to constantly be marketing to people. And to do that, you need to have a database of contact information for a target market that you repeatedly stay in front of. That's rule number one. You just can't do things one at a time. Okay. Very, very important. So what ends up happening there is we need to get numbers. There's a lot of different sources where you can get mobile phone numbers. So you can do bulk text drops, bulk straight to voicemail drops. You can get email addresses, so we can email people, physical addresses, and their names. So that's what we're usually looking for: mobile phone numbers, email addresses, physical address, and their names. Okay. And that's what most top producers get access to, and they get those databases together. They do that with their SOI first, which you can get those on your own, right? By knowing people and asking for them. And then we can actually buy them for different demographics. And the most popular one is geographic farming. So we can target certain neighborhoods. You notice how certain agents just dominate certain neighborhoods and you wonder why. Well, this is the first step. You got to get a database to them and market them more than everybody else, right? So that's important. Okay. So what'll end up happening there is, so there's a few different sources you can get these from. Okay. So, and I'm going to type these in to the chat, and I don't know what's going on with the chat on this one, but Coal Information is number one. You can buy them from them. And you can also buy geo leads from a company called RedX. Okay, both of those do the same thing, and they're about 100, typically about $100 a month subscription for either one of those. And quite frankly, I mean, most people don't pay for that forever because they can download and export, all the contact information for specific neighborhoods and set them up in their CRM. And then, after they get through the minimum 3-month or 6-month period, they tend to stop paying the $100 a month. So it's actually a very reasonable price. And you'll probably get about 60% of the mobile phones and about 50% of the email addresses. You'll get all the mailing addresses, physical addresses, and all the names. But you don't get all the emails and all the mobile phones, but you got to play the numbers. Like everything in real estate is a numbers game. If you get hung up on a glass is half empty mindset, like I didn't get all the numbers, so it's not worth it. Again, that's low producer mentality. Top producers just say, hey, it's a neighborhood of 2,000 people. I have 1,000 emails and I'm going to go after them. So I'm going to get, that's 1,000 people. I can still get signs and yards and make commission incomes on. So very, very, very important there. Okay. So you get that database together. And what'll end up happening is we're going to market to them consistently through all those different contacts. And we're going to vary those, right? I told you the first two, right? The first two ways we're going to send them out is that we need listings and the I got a buyer mailers that I gave you. Okay. That's the first two. The second thing, if you're looking to break into a neighborhood, if you're looking to farm and generate listings right now and just kind of get a stranglehold on a neighborhood, what I love about that is you can target any price point you want. And because if you want to up your average price point, the way to do it, there's really only two ways to do it. Number one, you can start to getting to know rich people. You can hang, that's tough. I mean, you got to like join their clubs and network and all that kind of stuff, and actually and grow your SOI with those people to the point where they start using you, which is fine. If you want that lifestyle, go for it. That's great. Join those clubs, be at those parties, live in that neighborhood, get your kids in those schools, establish relationships, and you'll start listing higher price homes. So you can target people or you can target places. Places means you can target neighborhoods. So you can actually look at the average price in your luxury neighborhoods and start marketing to them. And that's what we're talking about doing right now. We're breaking in. You can break in with those letters, but it's really hard to break into a new farm. A lot of people try to farm and very few make it. It's because they give up too fast. And you can't give up until you get a listing in there. Once you get a listing in there, then you're really, really working. Okay. Then you're really, really working, because now, before that, you're just saying, hey, I need clients. I need business. Look at me. I'm your realtor. You're not really adding anything of value or evidencing your success. And that's the key. We have to start evidencing that success. And if you get a listing, now we can market a just listed. We can market an open house. We can market a second open house. We can market a sale pending. When the contingencies get removed, we can call that under contract, or go under contract, then sale pending. And we can market a just sold. And we can do all of that. 6 different touches there, 6 different status changes in MLS, if you will, that we can market to evidence our success. And that's the key, because they want to see what you're doing is working. And if you're out there marketing for listings and doing some of the other stuff I'm going to talk about, and then they see, oh my gosh, I've never seen someone work this hard, they're going to do those 6 touches. And those 6 touches are typically going to be emails. They're going to receive 6 emails because you got those from one of the sources I showed you. Okay. Either Cole Information or RedX's product Geo Leads. And now you can email them. And then, so we're going to do what we call a 6-to-2 ratio. The 6 are those emails. Then we're going to do 2 mailers, and the 2 mailers should be just a just listed, just sold. Okay. So that's so every time you get a listing in a neighborhood you want to farm, we do the 6-to-2, is we do 6 emails and 2 mailers. Now, what can we do on top of that? Oh, all kinds of stuff, guys. Like I said, when you have an open house, you can do a neighbors only open house where we send everybody a straight to voicemail. Hey, this is Brian Icenhower. I'm with ABC Real Estate. We got your neighbor's home over at 321 Turnbill listed. And we're really trying to get your neighbor's home sold for the highest price possible. So we're having a neighbors only open house this weekend from 11 to 3 o'clock at 321 North Turnbull. Again, on the Brian Icenhower Real Estate team, we try to do everything we can to get a home sold for the highest price possible to keep your property values moving up, 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 up. So we'd love to see all the Cobblestone Estates neighborhood residents come by at 11 o'clock. Can't wait to see you there. Boom. Now they're saying, wow, I've never seen an agent work this hard to list a home. I've been getting the emails, the mailers. You're evidencing your success. And what they're going to do is they're going to say, are you sure you want to list with your cousin who just got her license, honey? Or are you sure you want to list with Linda? She's kind of half retired. Or you sure you want to list with David, our buddy? I mean, he doesn't really sell that much. This guy specializes in our neighborhood, and I've never seen someone work this hard. That's how you farmers steal from people's SOIs. They shortcut their relationships that way because they evidence their success. And guess what? You walk into that listing appointment, they're going to take whatever price you say because they actually see your value. They're not trying to cut your commission. They're not trying to cut your price. They know you're the expert, and they know why, because they see it every single day. So it's a whole different listing presentation. It's crazy. They've usually got your flyer or your marketing piece up on a fridge or something. Like the kids will want you to sign their autograph because you're so famous by then. They keep seeing all your marketing and stuff. It's kind of funny. So that'll work very, very well. And then you can go next step on top of that, which is really, really cool too. And we can actually then set that entire neighborhood up on a listing e-alert situation. Okay. And when I say listing e-alert, most of you guys are familiar with this function. Your association of realtors with your MLS system provides a great one for you. And this is not actually new technology. You've just been using it a little bit differently. And usually when you use a listing e-alert, or some people will call it MLS auto prospecting, what that means is usually you're saying, okay, you're looking for a house, and let me set you up in my MLS system. And anytime a new listing comes up on the market that fits the criteria you're looking for, you'll get an email. And then pretty soon, if you want to see one, I'll go show it to you, type of deal. Right. And that's great for buyers, but we're here to focus on listings. Wouldn't it be valuable if we could use that tool for listings too? And this is probably the most powerful feature, right? So if you've got a neighborhood, let's use my hypothetical Cobblestone Estates neighborhood. Now imagine I set everybody up because I have their email addresses in Cobblestone Estates, all 1,000 email addresses that I have, because it's a neighborhood of 2,000 people, let's say, on listing e-alerts. Okay. So what'll end up happening is, imagine if a new listing comes up in Cobblestone Estates, that new listing email goes to all the residents of Cobblestone Estates. So they're the first to know. They're the first to see when one of their neighbors' homes goes up for sale. They can look through photos and look at the inside of their neighbors' homes. I mean, that's like the best thing for them. Trust me. That's why half of them go to open houses anyway. That's the definition of a looky loo. Now they don't have to wait and try to time an open house. They can actually just look through it online and look through photos. They can compare the price of that home to what the value of their home might be. They can compare the amenities of that home to the amenities in their home and further assess what the value of their home might be. They can see how prices in the neighborhood are going up and down. They're going to be first to know. And who's going to tell them this? You. You're going to be the one giving them real estate relative value. They're going to be getting it from you. And they're going to thank you for that. They're going to be addicted to that. They're going to be sitting there, hey, Dave, honey, come on over. Look, Debbie's house went up for sale. Did you know that? I got that email from that realtor. All of a sudden, they're very appreciative. Like we're not just giving them calendar magnets here. We're not just giving them peeps or gift baskets. This is giving them real estate relative customer service to evidence where you are. What software do I use to keep them up on that great info? Your MLS has that software. Your multiple listing service has listing e-alert capability. Almost any CRM has it too, but your MLS provides it to you for free. That's why you pay your dues to this wonderful organization, the Maryland Association of Realtors, right? Then what you can do, and I'm going to drop this in the chat as well too, but here's the script we're going to use, right? This is your neighborhood auto email drip script, right? And you can say, here's those 6 bullet points. You can look through the photos of your neighbors' homes, compare the amenities, features, and size of the listings to your own home. You can know the price of each new listing. You can see how quickly each home sells for and the prices that it sells for, give you an idea of how the value of your home is increasing and keep you up to date on your neighborhood market conditions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So you're going to see scripts. You can use this. You can set everybody up in your SOI on this for geographic farming. We can use it to every seller lead. We can set them up on this in it by using the same 6 bullet points. So if you've got a seller, boy, shouldn't you be keeping them up to date? Even though they haven't signed yet, maybe they don't want to list for like 6 months, but you could at least set them up on this drip in the meantime. So you have a reason to keep calling them and saying, hey, did you see that new listing? Your neighbor's home went up for sale. That might make the price of yours go up, or that one we might not want to sell because that one actually could hurt the value of your home. But at least we're giving them relevant. We're giving them relevant info so that we can stay in conversation with them until they ultimately sign a listing agreement with us, right? And of course, buyer auto prospecting as well too. It's very important that we get our buyers looking at listings right now online because they have to see everything and they have to move very, very quickly. And we can give them full realtor access to our MLS by giving them listing e-alerts so that they will actually see each home the minute it hits the market. So we can jump on it right away, which is crucial right now, okay? So that's the idea. So I am going to drop that. That's an entire packet that comes with our SOI course. So it's a great sampler for our SOI online course that I am dropping. Goodness gracious. This keeps getting messed with. I'm going to drop that whole thing in there. And again, if I know a lot of you are on phones or having problems with your desktops and things like that. So if you're not getting these, I promise it is something on your end because I'm on Zoom way too much. I know how this one works. Okay. So I'm just redropping everything right now in case people came in late. So you got them. And there you have it. And this last thing I'll give you is a little marketing piece that you can edit as well too. A lot of people will want to market that new listing e-alert tool because it may be new and old school to all of you, but I'll tell you to the public, they love it. And I'm telling you, you get to a whole neighborhood addicted. So you kind of tell them this could be a social media post. This could be a mailer. This is a Microsoft Word document, so it's fully editable, but it talks about all the value you get that you'll receive, the details of each listing, the price, the photos, the details. So be on the lookout because you're going to get an email from me inviting you to join it. So you're trying to pump it up and make sure everybody knows you're giving this out in open houses so that everybody signs up because, again, you're going to send out an invitation to your listing e-alert feature in the MLS. It's the old, this has been around since I would say 95% of you have had your license. So it's right in your MLS for free. And I'm going to drop that in there too, because that's a little marketing piece you can get to promote it. All right. So I'm dropping that in. And you're all going to get a recording of this whole thing as well too. And there's another drop. And if you don't see the drops, hit the chat room at the bottom, hit chat and scoot over to the right. And if not, you're going to get an email with all these coming up. All right. So questions. I think I got most of it there. The last thing I'll throw in there too is if you do buy those numbers, if you buy the databases from one of those companies, definitely you get a little bit of a discount if you're, say, with Icenhower Coaching. So tell them you're with Icenhower Coaching, ICC. So my last name, I'm just going to write into the chat room as well too. Icenhower Coaching. They do give you some small discounts, so I'd probably use those when you sign up with either Cole or RedX. That's one thing, because you've attended this seminar, which means you're loosely a client of ours and should be entitled to the discounts that they give. The other thing that's really neat when you do get those databases, the email addresses and other reasons they're so important, and this could be an entire webinar in itself, is you can actually do something called Facebook retargeting now, which is phenomenal. I mean, this is it makes it so easy and cheap for agents. You guys have it so easy.
Hey, Nissa.
But compared to someone like me that's a dinosaur before the internet age. So what'll end up happening is you can actually take a bunch of email addresses and you can then upload them, like the Cobblestone Estates database. You can take that whole database of email addresses, upload them into Facebook, and then run ads back at your own database. Okay, so you could run that Facebook post I just shared with you back at them. You could run a just listed ad back at them. You could run a listing video back at them. You can run any post you want and target it so only the people that are in your database see it. And that's why they call it retargeting. You upload your database, and then rather than run an ad at a bunch of people on Facebook, you retarget them back at your own database. And it's so neat. And so what you can see, Anissa threw up there a bunch of links here as well too. There's a bunch of free downloads up there from all the stuff that we put up there. So you can see all that in the chat room too. There's a bunch of links you can click on where you can get all this stuff for free. If you want to come to our ICC summit, where you can meet all the coaches, participate in all the masterminds, roundtable workshops, learn about different ways that the top agents in the country are growing their businesses. You can come out to California in October. From what we hear, there's not any restrictions or anything like that with regards to COVIDs and masks or anything for where we're holding it. We're right on the beach, nice and open air, and it's beautiful. So we'd love to see that. If you want interested in coaching or having a free coaching call with any of our people, you can click on that too, and we'll get you a free coaching call. Might as well do that. I mean, I can't imagine why you wouldn't just get a free coaching call with someone to help you with your business. They're not going to hard sell you or anything, and get a test spin of what coaching feels like. Might be good for you. Okay, questions. Oh, Anissa, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned the Google local service ads. You mentioned farming. We put together a code for Maryland. So if they want to see what other courses we have, they can have half off the farm course with the code Maryland. And that's also listed there in that chat.
Oh, there you go. Great. Okay. Nice job. Okay. So yeah, we have a farm course on our online learning center. We have a lot of online courses. So if you want to take our entire geographic farming course, which goes into much more detail than I can do here in this meeting, we gave you half off that course. That's real cheap, so it's not going to cost you a lot. And you can go through the whole farming course, download all the scripts, dialogues, tools, marketing materials that come with that course. So I highly recommend that one. That's pretty cool of her to do that. So I like that one too. We got one question in the Q&A. I'm going to take a look at it. Carla, when will you send us a copy of the info that you put in the chat? Within 1 week. Within 1 week. I got you, Adrienne. So